Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Yes, I am brunette now. I got really tired of having blonde hair for the last 2 years, so I chopped my bangs off, chopped my hair off, and now it's brown. Total different change. But today's video is going to be about birth control methods, so stick around and we'll get right into it. So like I said, we're going to be going over the different birth control methods today. Any information I got came right from Planned Parenthood. So if you're wanting to learn more about these different birth control methods, please go on over to their website. They go into a lot more detail than I'm going to be doing today. I just have a quick synopsis of each birth control method that I'm going to be talking about. And so for today's makeup look, I thought I would take inspiration from Snow White, as now I have the short dark hair and the little headband. I've also been watching a lot of Once Upon a Time. I am starting from season 1 again. I've watched all seasons 1 through already, and now I'm starting again. I'm currently on season 2. So that is where this inspiration is coming from. Thank you, Disney. So for each of these methods I'm going to be going over, I'll go over each percentage of effectiveness with you, and then also kind of some small blips about them and how often you have to do it. So what kind of maintenance they need. Sure. So the first one I decided to talk about is the pill, and that's mainly because I feel like it's the most well-known, it's the most talked about one. So with the pill, it is 91% effective, and this was really surprising to me. I thought it was going to be more in the 98, 99 region, but 91%. With this pill, I would say it is more high maintenance, and this is just because you do have to take it every day, and usually around the same time every day as well. This one is going to be working off of hormones, so it's releasing hormones into your body in order for you to not ovulate. So the first birth control methods are going to be like the pill, where they all release a hormone into your body to stop ovulation, which stops you from releasing an egg, which stops there from being a pregnancy, yada yada yada. But then the benefit of this one is that there is another pill out there, I think it's like a combo pill for birth control, that does have a lot of benefits to it, and it's not just a standard birth control pill. So again, if you're interested in something like that, go to Planned Parenthood's website, go to a different reputable website as well if you would like, and research that kind of birth control method if that's the route you're wanting to go. Another important thing to note is that you can get pregnant right away after taking this. So if you decide you want to get pregnant, stop taking the pill and then go ahead and try. The next birth control option is the implant, which they stick like a little plastic piece right here in your arm, just a small little thin thing that they inject there. And again, it is going to be able to release those hormones into your body. So that one, it is 99% effective. So very good on that end. And then on the maintenance scale, this one's going to be lower maintenance because it only needs to be inserted every 5 years. So you insert it once and then you're good for 5 years. Obviously check in with your doctor if you think it's moved, anything like that, if you have any concerns. And then once you take it out, once a doctor, takes it out, you are able again to get pregnant right away. And I'm just adding this little bit in about getting pregnant because I know there are some women out there that are concerned about, well, if I want to start conceiving, do I have to wait a while after I take birth control to do this? So I'm adding that tidbit in there too. So with this one, you can take it out and then right away start trying. The next birth control option is the IUD. I feel like this again is another very popular method just because I hear a lot of women talking about this one. A lot of my friends have said they use it and they love it. It's just going to be that kind of T-shaped plastic material that they insert into your vagina, and it just sits there in your uterus, again releasing a hormone. And so this one is also 99% effective, so it's really good there. And this one's also very low maintenance because it only needs to be replaced every 3 to 12 years. I believe the higher one, the 12-year, is because they have a copper one that they use, and the copper repels the sperm, and that one only needs to get replaced every 12 years. So if you're wanting something that isn't involving hormones, that one would maybe be the way to go. Otherwise, the normal plastic one does release hormones, and that's 3 to 7 years. Very, again, low maintenance on that end, and very high effective percentage there. The next one is the shot. This one you only need to get every 3 months or 4 times a year. So it's kind of mid-maintenance depending on how you view that. It is 94% effective, so really great there. The only drawback, again, is that it's more in the mid-maintenance range. So you would have to keep reminding yourself or setting an appointment for every 3 months to go in to get the shot, so it doesn't miss any gaps in between there. The only drawback on this one is that if you are trying to get pregnant right after getting off of this birth control, is that it will delay pregnancy 9 to 10 months after. So the next one is the vaginal ring. This one you're going to be inserting into your vagina by yourself, and it's a monthly thing. And it's more mid-maintenance because you do have to insert it monthly rather than every 3 months or a year or something like that. It's 91% effective. Something to note about this one is that you can't use a menstrual cup with it, but for sex you can take it out, but you must be able to put it back in within 2 days just to keep those hormones released at the right times. So just keep that in mind if this is the option you are going with. The next one is the patch. It is 91% effective, and it would be low to mid maintenance because you do have to switch it out weekly. And for this method, it's pretty simple. You're just sticking a patch on your skin, and then it's weekly that you need to change it out. And with this one, you can get pregnant again right after you stop doing the patch. So all of those options are all going to be hormonal birth control methods. The next ones are just going to be more physical things you can do to prevent pregnancy. The first one being the male and female condom. These are going to be around 86 to 87% effective. The male condom, I feel like that is actually the most known birth control method. For this one, very obvious about how the male one works. You put the condom onto the penis, and that is how it prevents pregnancy because it catches all the sperm. There you go. And the female condom is a great option if you are wanting to control that yourself. So even if he doesn't have one, you can. That was cheesy. And just like a regular condom for men, do not use 2 condoms at the same time. So if the female is wearing one, the male cannot be. Plastic on plastic creates friction? It creates friction and can cause holes, which totally defeats the purpose of the condom at all. The next option is the diaphragm. This one to me was always so scary when I was learning about it in high school. I thought, I don't want to stick some plastic thing up there during sex. Like, that just sounds terrible and messy and blah. With the diaphragm, it is 88% effective, and it's a little higher maintenance because you do have to use it every single time. So this is for the woman to use. She would put spermicide on it, insert it into her vagina, and then you can have sex. It does need to stay in there though for a certain amount of time, at least 6 hours after sex to be exact. And you can also put it in there up to 2 hours beforehand. So if you know you're gonna get funky that night, go ahead and insert it in there beforehand so you don't have to shove it around right before. Also, the diaphragm itself lasts for about 2 years, so that's how often you have to replace them. Obviously, wash them, maintain the cleanliness during those 2 years. The next one is the sponge. This one is going to be higher maintenance because you do again have to use it every single time, but it is 86% effective. So with the sponge, it will come with spermicide already on it. The woman inserts it inside herself before sex, and it should be around 24 hours of it lasting. So as soon as it's out of its package, up there, 24 hours. That's what you get. The next one we have is the cervical cap. This is 71 to 86% effective, and it is higher maintenance, again, because you have to use it every single time. This one, again, is inserted by the woman. It's used with spermicide to make it the most effective, and it can last for about a year. It is much smaller than the diaphragm, so if that's something you're interested in, I would look at those 2 options and kind of compare those. The next one is spermicide. It's around 71% effective, and again, high maintenance because you must use it every single time. So with this one, the woman would insert it into her vagina and about 15 minutes before sex, and it lasts around 1 hour. With spermicide, it isn't actually just going to kill the sperm, it just slows them down, so it slows the process of the sperm reaching the egg, which I think is a big misconception with what spermicide actually is. Also with spermicide, it comes in a lot of different forms like creams, gels, foams, etc. So next I'm going to try to do a winged eye look, but who knows? So I'm either going to come back with great winged eyes, or I'm going to come back with this looking like a mess. So wish me luck. And da-da-da-da, we did it. Perfect. The next couple options I'm going over for birth control are going to be more of the, not controversial options, but a lot less effective ones if you don't know how to use them correctly. Yeah, so let's get into this one. So the first one is the fertility calendar. With this method, you're basically tracking when you're ovulating. It's around 88% effective, and again, it's all going off of the woman tracking her period and tracking when she's ovulating. Because the closer you are to ovulating, the more fertile you are, so the more likely you could get pregnant during that time. So people use this to track when the best time is to have sex in order to get pregnant, and obviously it can be used the other way in order to not get pregnant. So if you're using this method, again, you're really going to have to know when you are ovulating, when your period is, everything like that, and it's pretty much all on the woman to determine this. Next up, we've got the good old pulling out method. I have no idea how it's 78% effective. Again, these are all coming off of Planned Parenthood. I'm not sure how they got to these results. So basically this one is all up to the man to not get the woman pregnant. I'm not a male, so I don't know, but in the heat of the moment, I feel like it'd be hard to remember to do so. Like, if that's the only method of birth control you're going with is pulling out, I feel like that shouldn't be 78% effective, but that is what the number is for this one. So if you are going with the pulling out method, just make sure that in the heat of that moment, you remember to do so. It's also important to note with this one that pre-cum is a thing, so even if he hasn't fully ejaculated, there could still be some semen and sperm coming out even before that. So with this method, I'm not 100% sure how it can be 78% effective, but that is the number that they have given it. So if this is your only method of birth control that you are using, please, please, please be careful and consider using another type, like any of the other ones that we already went through. Thanks. So the next option is breastfeeding, which is actually 98% effective for new moms. So this is going off of the logic that if you were nursing every 4 hours during the day, every 6 hours at night, that you stop ovulating, meaning you cannot get pregnant if there's no egg there. But with this one, this can only be used for new moms, obviously, that are breastfeeding, and it's 6 months after giving birth. So next up on the list, we have abstinence. So this method of birth control obviously is 100% effective, because if you're sustaining from sex and not having it at all, how can you get pregnant? You can't. So it's 100% effective. However, I believe that this one is the very top most high maintenance of all of them, because you have to completely 100% abstain from having sex. And for many people, this is definitely a personal choice. It could be a religious one. It could be just a choice you decided that that is the best option for you during that period of your life. However, I think this is an extremely hard one to use because it's resisting nature. It's resisting the urge to have sex and procreate and do all that stuff. I feel like abstinence is such a hard birth control method to use because it's all up to that individual to uphold that. You don't have any other form of birth control that you're using, and it's all on that person to say no, we're not doing that, in order for them not to get pregnant. So while I highly recommend using another form of birth control so that you can continue on with your life and not get pregnant at that moment when you're not ready to, use something else. But nonetheless, women are very strong individuals. So if you have chosen this, I know you're strong and I know you can probably do it. So the last form of birth control I'm going over is the permanent one. So tubal ligation for the women and then a vasectomy for the men. And like any other major life decision, these two options are going to need a lot of thinking and planning to go into it beforehand. So do not have these procedures done unless you are 100% sure that this is what you want. So in today's video, we went over all those different birth control options. So hopefully if you're thinking about which one to use, maybe that narrowed it down for you. But I definitely suggest going to a doctor and talking to them more about it, and then also doing some research on your own to figure out which one is the best option for you. I also wanted to talk about birth control because in the next few videos and so on, I will be going more into a sex-related theme. So I wanted to give you those options first because I want to prepare anybody out there for sex if they aren't yet. And so now into the realm of sex we go. Thanks beauties for sticking around and watching today's video. I will see you in the next one when we talk about another fun sex topic.